Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Domestic Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Monday, November 11th, ending Friday the 15th, 2019. A couple things to note about this week up front. Number one, Monday is a U.S. bank holiday. It is not a stock market holiday. It really should be. I've always said that, but it's not. So the banks are closed. The banks are closed. Usually not much happens in the markets. We saw this back in last month for Veterans Day. If you skip here to this chart of volume, you can see that lowest volume day of the year right there in October, down at 1.4 billion shares. That was Columbus Day, which is the only other day of the year that's the same story here, where the markets are open, but the banks are closed, and basically nothing happened. So unless there's some news out there economically or whatever, usually doesn't lead to much. So I wouldn't expect anything. Also, this week is already, because it's the third Friday, options expiration for November, even though we still have 2 more weeks until Thanksgiving after that. So we got 2 full weeks here, and then the following week is a kind of a half week with the Thanksgiving holiday. Thanksgiving is on the 28th. All right, here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. Daily chart of the broad market and futures form. It was a very flat week. 5 days in a row with almost nothing. You'll see it when we go to the intraday action. We had gapped up Monday. We never filled. And we were inside, touching every day's candle the whole way, all the way from Monday to Friday. All right. This is a look at crude oil down 11 cents to 57.13. Gold down $1.30. It's been on the decline. 1461.60. S&P cash gains $7.96. Nasdaq 100 up 36.24. The SOX up 9.10. Biotech's down up 68.22. This is actually a nice looking chart here if it breaks out over those June highs. It's still not near highs of the year, but it's on the rise again. Russell 2000 up 4.87. The VIX loses 66 cents. That's a new low close for the year, or really close to it. Still have the risk line from that last 13 buy signal. So the VIX is really, this is as low as the VIX gets, which means a couple things. Number one, typically, market action is horrible. And number two, it doesn't stay down here and volatility starts to pick up again. Trend 0.89, 10-day moving average 0.94. 10-day on the NASDAQ volume 1.9 billion shares on Friday, which wasn't great. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ was plus 286. On the New York was plus 136. Google gains $2.06. That's a new closing high for Google. Apple up 71 cents. That's a new closing high there. I will point out, though, that's a 12. One more day up, and we'll get a 13 on the seeker for a sell signal for Apple. Netflix up $2. Amazon down $2.32. Tesla up $1.60. Facebook up 42 cents. Goldman Sachs loses 38 cents. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, down 57 cents, and the Dow was up just 6 points. So that is fairly uneventful. Now, keep in mind, if we go back to the S&P and we go to the monthly chart, right? This closed out at the end of October on Halloween. We have a 13 sell signal. There's still room up to the pink risk line, which is at 32.50. But generally speaking, we have a 13 sell signal, and that's a monthly candle. So it doesn't mean tomorrow has to be the day we start selling off. It just means that on a monthly basis, we may have maxed out here. If we go look at the weekly chart, we had a 13 sell signal. We're trying to break the risk line of that for the first time right now. Can we take out the highs of that or not? We don't necessarily know yet. NASDAQ side had one on the weekly as well. On the monthly, the NASDAQ needs 2 more months. I'm sorry, 1 more month. So no, this would be a projection mode for November. So yeah, until the end of the year, it can get a 13 sell signal in December. You'd have both the S&P and the Nasdaq for the first time in a while with signals for the close together like that on the monthly time frame, the biggest time frame that we really look at. Anyways, it's interesting. We'll see what it leads to. Let's look at the intraday action on the ES. And so for the week, we gapped up on Monday, drifted lower. Closed just under where we opened. Tuesday, basically opened flat, drifted lower. Wednesday, basically opened a little lower, filled the gap, closed about where we flat for the day. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were a bust. Thursday, we gapped up and rolled. Now, when they were a bust, I say that. We had some great trades like in Goldman Sachs. Thursday, we gapped up and then moved back down, trying to fill the gap. Friday, we filled the gap from the gap up. Wednesday, Thursday's gap up. And then rebounded a bit. We're dead flat. And then literally in the last, we were sitting right where we opened for the week at one point, and then in the last hour of the day, we rallied a little bit. We did fill the gap from Monday here on the ES. Now, if you look at the NASDAQ side, reached down and just barely filled the gaps. So the gaps are all filled, but it's fairly uneventful. It's not what you like to see, and so hopefully we'll get some better action here. But so far, there's nothing very exciting. In terms of economic data coming out this week, again, Monday's the bank holiday for Veterans Day, so our banks are closed. We got Fed members speaking Monday and Tuesday. We got the NFIB Small Business Index at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Mortgage delinquencies at some point. With the CPI number at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, an hour before the bell on Wednesday. Fed Chair Powell testifies at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Federal budget balance at 2. And then on Thursday, we've got the PPI unemployment claims. That's the weekly initial and continuing number. Fed Chair Powell speaks to the other House of Congress, branch of Congress. Natty gas, crude oil inventories. And then on Friday, core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index, import-export prices, capacity utilization in industrial production, and business inventories. So there's some data out there. None of it's the biggest stuff. The CPI is probably the big one. And, of course, the Fed Chair testifying to Congress. We'll see what we get. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.